Hey guys, welcome back to my Heian series. This is my final video in this series, and therefore the most complex so far. This kata is Heian Godan, which we will learn for Purple Belt. It has 23 moves, with kiais at moves 12 and 19. This kata has a lot of similar moves to the kata you learn at Brown Belt level, so as always it's a good idea to learn it correctly. Let's just get started. The first move is the same as Heian Sandan, an uchi-uki in back stance. Really make sure you bend your knees slightly before you step, and make sure your elbow stays tucked in so it's very tight to your body from the front. Then you gakuzuki with your right arm. Try your best to turn your hip without letting your stance collapse, and try and get your hips as square as possible. With the next move, you slowly stand into Mizunuguri. Your fist should be lower than your elbow. It's often said that a stream of water should be able to flow down your arm. Make sure you look to the right as you stand. This is then repeated on the other side, but instead of looking left on the Mizunuguri, look straight forward as this is where you're going next. In move 7, it's a Moroto-uki in back stance, followed by a Koso-uki. This is very similar but the opposite way around to Heian Godan, so be careful here not to get confused. Then you open your hands and block upwards via your stomach. Keep your hands crossed the whole time. Make sure you can see under your hands when you block. Pull your hands straight down with your right elbow on your hip and your left hand over your right connected by the heel of your palm. Really make sure you're pulling straight down and not doing any twirly butterfly stuff. For the next move, you punch straight from the block position with your left hand and stepping forward into Oizuku with your right. This is move 12 and the first kiai. Then turning with your right foot anti-clockwise into Kibadachi Godan Barai. Cross your arms with your right hand on top in a fist and your left underneath, open-handed, both facing palm down. Then perform the kakeuki, twisting your left hand at the end. This is followed by Mikusuki Geri Maempi. Make sure that your hand doesn't move when you kick and your foot should connect with it. Try and hold your hip back until the MP to generate power when you strike. Stepping up and crossing your legs, you push forward into Moroto-uki to the front, but don't turn your body. Stand up and do keep your hands in the same formation, just push them up behind you. Your feet should be an L shape, but the stance is very short and natural, with your left heel slightly lifted. The next move is the hardest move, it's the jump. To generate momentum, shift all your weight onto the front leg from your back leg. Try to jump straight up in the air and tuck your knees under. Your hands should go up to your hips as the jump reaches its peak, and then land into Koso-uki with your right hand over the top, feet crossed. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with this move. First of all, don't try and jump very far, as it quickly becomes uncoordinated and unbalanced with too much momentum. Your power should be going up and straight down to avoid this. Also, don't let your hands go wild, make sure they're nice and tucked in. With your legs, make sure they aren't just kicking your butt, really tuck your knees up. Try not to lean as you land, keeping your back straight. This move is the second kiai at move 19. Make sure you look straight ahead and not to either side. After the kiai, the Moroto-uki is in front stance, unlike the first one in this kata. The last few moves are pretty fiddly, so we're going to go through it slowly. Here's it in one go. The first move is open palm. The preparation is remaining in front stance, turning to the front with your left hand blocking Godan and your right hand by your temple. This then transitions into front stance forwards, and it's almost like a Godan Barai preparation with open hands. Make sure your right hand is palm up though. Make sure this is a strong front stance. Hold the front stance facing backwards in the preparation, or there can be very little hip twist when you move. Then pull back into back stance and fist closed block with your left hand in Godan position, and your right arm should be at right ankles, not too straight or bent. Slowly stand up. The other side is similar, but the preparation for the strike is slightly different. This is it performed fast. As you prepare, your right hand is open in a Godan position, palm down. Your left is by your temple, facing out. Then you push forward into the strike and pull back into back stance block. For this block into back stance, try not to move your front foot too much and definitely don't lift it. Make sure you stay the same height as your strong front stance. So that brings us to the end of the kata. This kata is the last of the Heian Kata, so from here the katas will get more complex and longer. It is very important to learn the Heian katas as well, as many of the techniques will be repeated in a higher grade kata. As a general overview, slow moves in Heian katas need to be accentuated and every stance should be strong. Really try to stop at the end of each move and don't rush through. Your hands and feet should always finish at the same time for moves where you change stance. Heian katas are made to start and finish in the same place, so try practicing your kata from a marked point, and if you don't finish in the same place, then maybe your stances were varying lengths, or you got the angled moves wrong. Thank you for watching along on this Heian series. Please keep practicing, as there are always things to improve no matter what grade you are.